Welcome back to Mount Haruna. The last time I was here, I drove an ND Mazda Miata slash MX-5 slash Roadster, and I absolutely fell in love with that car going up and down this road. And I wanted to buy one, but practicality was a bit of an issue, so I started looking at other cars like the Demio 1.5 MB and even a Toyota GT86. And at the end of the day, I thought, nope, the ND MX-5 is genuinely that bit much more fun than the other two cars, and I said, I really want one. The trouble is, they're going for quite a lot of money now on the used market, and I definitely can't afford one new. So I decided to come back here to try something a little different, but almost the same. So this is a 2005 NC Mazda Roadster. The NC seems to be the most hated Mazda Miata slash Roadster slash MX-5 for reasons I don't quite understand. Everyone says this is a big, heavy Miata compared to previous generations, and yeah, compared to an NA, it's quite heavy, but one thing that people don't realize, this particular model weighs 1,090 kilograms, and the heaviest NB clocked in at 1,080. So this is only 10 kilograms more, and you're not going to feel that, like, if you have slightly less gas in the tank, or you change out the battery for something lighter, you negate that 10 kilograms, and no one ever complained about the heaviest NBs. So compared to an ND Miata, this is still like 40 kilograms heavier than one of the heavier models from the ND range, and it's about the same, if not lighter, than the RF, and no one seems to complain about the weight of the RF, so I don't think weight is an issue with this car. So this is the VS model. Things work a little differently in Japan compared to overseas. There's no base, club sport, etc. So this VS model is kind of the equivalent to like a Grand Touring model in the US. So it has seat heaters, leather seats, and it's kind of the plush, cushy model. And compared to the RS model, which is the next most common spec, this lacks Bilstein dampers, and it doesn't have a limited slip differential. So I actually prefer the VS model because I'm an old man and I'm not really a racing driver by any stretch of the imagination. And this rides so much better. And actually, up and down these bumpy roads, for the mountains, it's actually better. Like, if you have a really stiff suspension, you just get jostled out of your seat and thrown into the barriers, where this soaks up all the bumps really well, and like the handling maybe could be better, but given how well it handles and soaks up the bumps at the same time, I think this is kind of the ideal spec for mountain driving, just because it's safer. So the interior of the NC is actually quite nice. I mean, it does have a lot of cheap plastics, but it's kind of par for the course for this era of car. The plastics themselves are really hard to the touch, but as you can see, this is a 17-year-old car. Everything has worn very well. I like these leather inserts on the door panels, and just overall it's a nice place to be. And as much as I liked the ND, it was noticeably tighter inside, and what made it extra annoying was there's actually no place to put a water bottle. Yeah, it had those little detachable cup holders and everything, but then you'd have to kind of do this business to get a drink. This doesn't have that problem. There's actually a glove box to put things in, and just overall this is a much more practical car. Yeah, seriously, whomever was saying this car feels way too heavy and doesn't handle properly, it just didn't drive one, because this is really, really good down this really tight, twisty mountain road. It feels really light on its feet, and it feels like it's dancing. I have zero complaints about the handling. Compared to like a Toyota 86, this feels lighter because it is lighter. And it feels that little bit more playful. And it's just a lot of fun to drive. You don't have to be going that fast to have a blast on this road. And if you do kind of pick up the speed, the handling of this car is incredible. I haven't really been able to unstick the tires unless I really tried. And I'm on like some of the cheapest eco tires for sale in Japan, just because that's what came with the car. Just zero complaints about the handling of this car. In fact, I love it. Another thing to note, this was the last generation of Miata to come with hydraulic steering. The electric steering rack in the ND is very good. It has better on-center feel, and it feels a little more accurate. However, yes, the hydraulic steering does feel better, and it transmits road bumps and other information into your hands a lot better. It's very communicative. You can really feel the edge of grip and just kind of the capabilities of this car, just because the steering is so communicative. It's absolutely lovely. Does this car feel heavier than the ND through the corners? Yeah. Especially because I was driving the 1.5, which weighs about 1,000 kilograms. This is a clear 90 kilograms more than that. What I do notice is this engine. Yeah, that 1.5 was enough power to have fun. This is more than enough power to have fun, which actually makes it more fun. Ooh. So, being a nice Mazda power plant, it revs really cleanly. It loves to rev. You don't feel like the engine's struggling at any point in time. It doesn't sound like, oh God, stop doing that to me, like you kind of get on a Toyota 86. No, this is just a fantastic car to drive. Heel toe, very easy. Go around these really tight corners and just have a smile on your face. That's what this car is all about. I don't care if it's faster or slower than an ND or not. All I care about is it makes me just as happy, if not happier, because that 2-liter engine really makes a difference. So if you're thinking of picking up an NC, I would just go ahead and do it. These are really affordable right now, and for the price, I don't think you can do better. And you can get an NA or an ND for roughly the same price, but nah, those are a bit too floppy, a bit too rusty, and, you know, there's not as much power. I do recommend at least trying an NC out if you're looking for a cheap used sports car, because this is really worth it. These are highly reliable cars, and I just don't really see a reason why you wouldn't buy one other than practicality. So if you can have one of these in your life, and you want one of these in your life, go ahead and do it.